Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into the channel. Today's video is going to be a POV of me unboxing some of the new components that I got in the mail and transplanting all of our old components into our new case. The video turned out to be more of a time lapse of the whole process, so I just went with it. So grab your coffee or tea, sit down, relax, and I hope you enjoy the video. Okay guys, so for this video I decided to do some voiceover and chime in every now and again to tell you guys about the components I'm working with, what's going on in the video, and just anything I think might be important. The case I decided to go with was a Meshify 2 from Fractal. A lot of customization you can do with this, and the cable management in this case was just light years ahead of the PC case that I currently have, so I was really excited to get this moving. So I think I'll go ahead and go over the different components that I'm running in this old build. I went over them in my last video, which was a review of our current setup, or I guess I should say the old setup now. But here in this PC you'll see an MSI B450M motherboard with a Ryzen 5 2600 on it. Those are 2 sticks of Corsair Vengeance RGB RAM. That's a Western Gate 500GB hard drive. The power supply is an OCZ 700 watt power supply. I already pulled out the 2070 RTX NVIDIA graphics card. There's some stock fans all around this case that I'm just pulling out to get a better vantage point on these screws tying down the motherboard. We have 2 SSD drives. One is a Samsung terabyte SSD, and the other is a 250GB from Kingston. So the new motherboard that we'll be installing into the case is an Asus ROG Strix B450F gaming motherboard. So the main motivation behind upgrading to this motherboard from the MSI was the 3 PCIe slots and the 4 RAM slots, as opposed to the 2 memory slots on the MSI and only 1 PCI Express port. I was really aiming to run 2 graphics cards side by side in this new build for reasons that I will get into when I install the graphics cards. Okay, it actually took me like 10 tries to get this fan onto this motherboard because of the loaded spring screws on it. I guess I just wasn't applying enough pressure, but I get really nervous handling this kind of expensive technology. So I was babying it, I guess a little too much. But finally, we got it on there, and it looks great. So here I'm installing the graphics cards into the PCI Express ports on the motherboard. I'm first installing the RTX 2070 into slot 1. And this next graphics card is actually a GTX 1050 Ti that I had in the build just before we bought the 2070. And the reason why I'm putting it in this build alongside the 2070 is actually for crypto mining purposes. The 2070 has been mining Ethereum through an Ethereum pool for about a month now, and I knew I had this 1050 just laying around, so I wanted to see if we couldn't put it to work. Although the 1050 Ti probably isn't going to be a profitable GPU to mine with, I thought it would be cool to try anyways. Maybe I'll go more into depth in a different video about crypto mining and how exactly I've set that up on my PC. So that about wraps up the build and the transfer of the components into the new case. I skipped some of the cable management stuff just because it's really tedious, and I know you guys know if you've ever built a PC before, it would just take up way too much time and it was way too involved. But here we have the finished product, and man, it looks good. I was so happy with it. And at this point, I was just praying that it turned on and didn't explode. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. Everything's hooked up and ready to go. In the end, the build was a success. I only had to go back in and connect the front case fans. The cables for those just got lost somewhere in the back, and it was an easy fix. But all in all, this thing looks great, and it's just a huge step up from what we had before, and I'm super happy with it. But yeah, guys, that about wraps up this video. This is kind of a temporary cable management under the desk for now. We're planning on moving pretty soon, so I'm not going to be too crazy about, making this perfect right now. And I think when we're in our new setup, we'll have this PC on the desk. But this will do perfectly fine for now, and I'm just really happy that we got this PC nice and cleaned up and looking the way it deserves to. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.